Welcome to This Is Our Earth podcast. I am Syliva Puentes, and I invite you to these amazing conversations that explore the wonder and magic of connecting with our beautiful planet. Inspired by Lugar, the place, originally a book by Gary Douglas, and now being actualized on our earth as we speak. What can we each be that would create a sustainable living earth? So welcome everyone to another episode of This Is Our Earth. I once again am delighted to share with you this incredible being, Paul Kearney, who is connecting here with me all the way from the beautiful Italy, and he will share more of where he's at. But Paul Kearney, other than being just an amazing, amazing person that I have the pleasure to know, is also the director, the European director for Access Consciousness. He is also the manager of this beautiful Castello Casalborgone, and delighted to hear what he has to say about what he's choosing and sees in the world. And Paul, welcome.
Thank you, Sylvia. Great to be here. I love El Lugar, everything to do with it, and I just love that project. Yeah, it's magic.
So I was telling Paul before we started recording that this podcast is inspired by El Lugar. It's inspired by this project that's actually truly creating, building, all the elements of this project are in communion with Earth. And it's willing to adjust and change whatever's required to continue moving forward. And that is so unique. And Paul, you're actually at the castle, which is another project that has a very similar energy. What can you share about what you see at the castle and what you're choosing on your side of the world?
Yeah, well, I love the title. This is our Earth, and it's a little story. So the Castello Casalborgone is at least 1,000 years old, probably closer to 2,000 years. We have written records from 990, and Gary Douglas bought it in 2017 and was told it would take at least 5 to 10 years to restore it. And he got his group of people together, and they did it in a year and a half, and it was miraculous. It was just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful creation. So it's now conference center, hotel, restaurant. We've lots of conferences here. But one of the most beautiful things here is at the front of the castle. So there's a large yard, and there's two Lebanon cedars, which are huge trees. Like, I mean, they dominate the whole area, and they're somewhere between 600 and 700 years old. We don't know exactly, but in November of the year just gone, all these cones, like little cones, started appearing on one of the trees and not on the other one. So I asked our gardener, I was like, I wonder, why does this one have like thousands? I mean, these trees now are huge. They're probably maybe 60, 70 meters tall, and like the circumference of one of them could be 2 or 3 meters. Like, they're really, really big trees, similar to some of the ones in Lugar. And the she went off and she researched it. And what she found was that the one on the left-hand side, as you walk out the main door, is a female tree, and that produces cones. And the one on the right is a male tree, and it doesn't. And whoever planted it actually knew what they were doing. Like, they were fully aware of it. Like, they were fully aware of what their choice was creating, because there's so many situations where, like, the statue on the left-hand side is male, statue on the right-hand side is female. And it's like, it's continually balancing out what is nature and like the magic and beauty of nature. And yeah, we're so lucky just to be surrounded by so much beauty and elegance here.
Yes. There was something you said, and it's discovering that magic, but also the magic you said people were saying it would take 5 to 10 years to restore. So, one, I would like you to share with us what's the difference between, renovate, restore, and what does that look like for the castle? But also the fact that it was done in a year or a year and a half. I mean, that's the magic we hear about El Lugar. It's like, oh, the rain and all these things that seem to be the obstacles and the limitations. And yet there is something magical that is created when you are creating with communion with Earth. And the castle has this communion of what it would like to create in the world. So can you share a little about what you mean by restore and what's that been different at the castle?
Yeah, totally. Well, what Gary looked to create was, a space where we actually restored it. So bringing back the old style elegance and beauty rather than modernize. Because what a lot of people look to do is they modernize and they take a lot of the beauty and the elegance out of it. And it's looking at was what was there in the past and reinstituting that. So we did a concert recently. It's beautiful opera singer Laura Capretti from Turin, and Gary was saying it was probably the first time in 100 years that you'd had like a private concert like that, and it was like people loved it. They just absolutely loved it. But just the beauty, the elegance, everything that it was, and I think there was a number of factors that allowed the restoration to be maybe probably like two, at least 2, 3, 4 years faster than everybody predicted it. And it was, well, a lot of it was the brilliance of Gary Douglas and what he sees, but also David Caddy, who's working in El Lugar now. And it's, I remember Maura Bramley was telling a story about David Caddy, where David Caddy was like working late at night, sweeping all these floors. And she went up to him and said, David, you don't need to do this. And he was like, we hire other people to do this. And David said, no, you don't get it. He was like, this is my time to talk to the castle. And he used literally commune with the castle. Okay, castle, what do we do next? What do we do next? What do we do next? And like, there's a lot of times, and I've worked in construction before, where you do stuff that's unnecessary and actually look at, okay, what's required here? What's required to make it happen? Because definitely when I came to the castle, I had the point of view, oh, I'm going to change this or I'm going to change this. The next one I realized, wow, I don't need to change any of this. It's absolutely beautiful just the way it is. And it's allowing the castle to be that presence in the world.
And that is so different. Just like having communion with the earth, you're asking the earth what it desires, what will contribute to it when you're building. But you already had a structure, and now asking the castle what's required, what does it need. I mean, it just seems like a whole new engagement of including more elements in your choices as you go to change this or change that. That's beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, and it never shows up the way I think it's going to show up. It's like somebody was asking me recently, how do you hire your staff? And it was like, I asked the castle. I was like, okay, like I had an example maybe a month ago where I needed two waiters, and I was like, okay, castle, I need two waiters. And on the Monday evening, somebody rang. Our head of service and said, okay, we have, I'd like to come for an interview. And it was like unsolicited. So we came, he's a super nice guy. And we're like, do you know anybody else? And he was like, oh, well, my wife works with me and we've worked together for 20 years. We work together really well. And so they came and like that was, so I asked on the Monday, asked the castle, hey, castle, I need two waiters. And by the Wednesday, we had somebody, they were working with us by the Saturday. So in less than a week, it's like, it's actually for me a lot of it is letting go of control because it's like I'm a control freak and there's so many things where I could see, oh, I'm trying to control this. And when you try and control something, you contract it rather than actually expand it. Consciousness will always tend towards expansion, and consciousness begets consciousness. So it's actually allowing things to expand and to grow.
This really seems like the element for the future. Like, really, this is key. Like, I get more and more as I listen to different people, but that willingness to ask a question, the willingness to receive contribution, the willingness to let go of control. Like, what is, our earth in the future really asking of us? That now more than ever is the time to change, where that control is not working. It's not
Yeah.
working, and yet the force is there trying to impose that even more. There's also something else that I see at the castle that is so different. I have the pleasure to have been at the castle a couple times from the very beginning before construction started or the renovation. And I've also visited two other castles. Now, going to Casa Borgone, you think, wow, all the castles are like this. Oh, no. So, what is so different about the castle that you see as you have been around also at many different castles, and what's different there? What choices are different?
I think one of the big things is it's a very natural sense. like I've seen a lot of people come to the castle and like they're expecting it to be kind of maybe like Downton Abbey or something like that, that it's very maybe stuffy or stiff, like, and it's not, it's completely natural. And like Gary said a year or two ago, he wanted to design a place where like friends could hang out. So you could just hang out and have a good time. And like that's what we look for. We look for very kind staff. So people who can actually be that invitation to people. So it's like you come there and that you're looked after before you even arrive, you feel that you're being nurtured for. And then the castle holds you. The castle looks after you. And it's like it's this level of elegance, this level of beauty, and this level of silence. And it's like Gary has been very aware of that. And it's like that actually the more that you maintain and you look after the silence actually deepens. And we had some clients here who hadn't been here in 6 months, and they arrived and the guy just sat down, you could see he's just like relaxed into it. And he was saying to me after, he said, wow, Paul, he said, the silence has actually deepened. And I never considered that. Like, it's like if you put money into a bank account, the bank account's going to grow. It's the exact same thing with silence. If you actually protect and nurture and feed the silence is going to grow. And in this world where there's a lot of noise and a lot of clutter, people are actually looking for silence.
Yeah, it is the rare commodity that you can find both at the castle and El Lugar.
Yeah.
In this part that you're saying, I remember visiting my last trip, and where there was a conference there, and I attended, and there was a moment we went into one of the rooms, and I was sitting on the sofa, and all of a sudden it was like, oh wait, like I in my head it was like, oh no, I can't be this relaxed. This is expensive furniture, or but that sense of like, oh no. But I thought, oh wow, that is so different. I feel like I'm home. Like I could really, really relax. There you have the beautiful teacups there where you can make your own or coffee or tea, and then sitting on the elegant furniture. I don't come from a very elegant background. Both my parents from Mexico was really the basics. So I joke around, but there was a cup with the silverware in the middle of the table. Grab what you need. And
Yes.
and to come to this elegance at El Lugar, it invited me to receive more and also know that there's choices I can make, which I'm all like, wow, like to actually see what's available. And also this home inviting kind presence of the castle is so beautiful. And I went home. I got rid of not my silverware yet because I haven't found a set, but I got rid of all my plates and my glasses. I got crystal glasses, just a different array of them. And I left them on the counter for a while because it was like, they're so beautiful. And then I cling them, because they make this beautiful sound.
Yes.
Like, but
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
joy of adding that to my space, it was such a pleasure. And that's for me one of the gifts and many more that the castle has given.
Yeah, and one of the people was saying to me last week, they were like, the castle is an oasis of peace and calm in the middle of all the madness. Like there's a lot of stuff happening at the world of presence, and the castle has been through world wars, it's been through famines, it's been through pestilence, been through plague, you name it, it's seen it. And it kind of has this sense of, yeah, don't worry, we're going to get through this too. No matter what comes along, it's like we have it covered.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's for me, it's like a power place. It's like there's places that are very powerful in the world. El Lugar has that sense as well, where it's like it's potent. So it's very relaxed, but it's very powerful. And it's like, it's a bit like driving a really fast car. You know that you have, if you press the accelerator, you've got lots of power if you really want to go. And it's yeah, just that sense of elegance, that sense of beauty, and that sense of space. Like it's the the elegance of silence is how we often describe it, and it's like allowing things to be that simple that you can just relax and be received.
Wow. And I just got that energy. It's like that invitation because it's almost anyone that visits the castle or El Lugar, you leave with a sense and a space that you didn't know existed. But and so for me it's also like this ripple effect of spreading that to know it's like, okay, now I'm back home. What can I choose different to add that? Whether it's the elegance or whether you begin to notice the noises and where you might have the silence. Yeah. It's such a beautiful, beautiful invitation. And there's something that's popping for me now too, Paul, because you also work on the part of finances also within the company, but it's never about going cheap. It's never about like cutting the cost to the bare minimum, whether it's, how you pay your employees or what you choose. It truly is a different question. What is the question that you're asking as you're looking to add something to the castle?
Yeah, it's like what will create greater, what will create more for the future. It's like we're in April 2021 and it's COVID time and it's like 99% of the hotels in Italy are closed. And it's like we never closed, we kept all our staff on, we worked through it, and it's like it was always looking at what created greater, because it's not just for the castle, but it's for all the people that work here. It's for all their families. It's all the businesses that they support. It's like everything knocks on. And it's like economies are based on people, and it's based on people contributing to each other. And when we actually acknowledge that and look at that and say, okay, what creates more here? And it's like Gary and all the shareholders have an incredible vision for what they want to create here, and it's different. It's different than anybody has ever seen with the world before. They're creating a reality beyond this reality. It's something new, and it's like in one way it's challenging because you're creating something that's never been there before, but in another way it's the most exciting place because it's like boom, boom, boom. What can we choose now? What can we do differently? Okay, what can we add to it? And it's like it's always looking at what can we add.
And that question, what can we add? What can we do different? It's so interesting because it has nothing to do with the past references of what's been done and what's worked for other people. It's actually opening up to something totally new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, opening up to something new and also acknowledging what was created in the past. Like, what did they know before when they planted those two trees 700, 800 years ago? What did they know? And it's like they knew something, and it's like a, for me, it's being in communion with nature. So being in communion with the earth, and it's like actually listening to the ripples of okay, what will create more ease here? Because when I came here first, oh my God, I had so many business. Oh, this is the business idea. This is the thing, the right thing to do. And it was like so many fixed points of view. And like any time that I worked from a fixed point of view, it ended up just being really hard work and not creating that much more. And when I went with something that was simple and easy, it just worked a treat. And it was like Gary would say, "You're not willing to be the happy idiot." And I was like, "Okay, what does a happy idiot do?" And it's like the happy idiot does something that's easy and fast. And it was like I was always making things complicated and slow. And now I see it's you follow the energy of just ding, 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 ding. And it's like what would actually create ease here?
I love it. The happy idiot. That's it. We have a new title for you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah.
But that willingness, yes, because wow, I love it, Paul, and thank you so much. Because there's so many people that I've interviewed that are creating these different projects around the world, or what they're choosing in their homes, or with food and all these areas, and there's this sense of truly desiring to create something greater. And what I recently heard Gary Douglas explain, and just in a different way, because I've heard people say, "Well, let's create more," and he said greater, and he goes, "The difference of greater is that it's undefined, that it has no definition.
Yeah.
Greater is just like it is something different and greater than what is before, but you don't have a definition of it. Something more is like what you already know, and you just create more of that." So for me, it is this ongoing adventure of like, wow, what can we create greater and more? For now and in the future. So, so delighted.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And like one of the things that I see with El Lugar, it's like, and the castle is similar. It's like it's unbridled creativity. You just allow the creativity to run. It's like, okay, this is coming up. Okay, what can we create here? What can we do? And it's like continually in question. And then the universe responds, boom, here's who you need, here's the person you need, or here's whatever the case may be. And it's like letting go of control and trusting what you know. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, this will work. Or if it will work, let's see. And so off we go.
The happy idiot, right? Okay, let's
Yes, exactly. Yes, yeah. but there's a beauty in it, because it's like it's actually, it's like when I do control, it's contraction. And I know that. It's like it's contraction. And it's like I perceive that energy in my worlds, compared when it's like, okay, yeah, cool. What do you know? And it's like, because oftentimes I'll just say to staff, okay, what do you know? It's like, well, I think this will work. Do it. And then we'll see. And it's like, cool, it worked beautifully. It's like, it's empowering everybody to trust what they know. And it's like, it's just, okay, what do you know here? Because like, they're the people who are doing the jobs. They've seen it day in, day out. They know what will work. It's like, okay, yeah, go with that.
And that is also so different. Oftentimes, you come to a job or to a work and you're waiting to be given the orders and to be given the freedom to create or trust what you know and give that voice. That's a gift for everybody that's involved. So, well, this is the podcast of This Is Our Earth. And I know projects like the castle and the beauty of the castle, it's not even a project anymore. It's actualized, it's running in a beautiful location for people to visit. It has a beautiful shop that keeps growing. I would like my sheets, my robe, and my teacup, because there is an energy that comes with all of that, of the elegance and the choice to know that you can add beauty, elegance, and silence to your life, no matter where you're at. So thank you so much, Paul. Is there anything else you'd love to leave with our listeners, either of how they can get more information of the castle or about you? Let us know.
Yeah, well, for the castle, we just added some new photographs. So it's like Casalborgone, so CASALBORGONE.com, and you just get a sense of the castle. Even just look at the photographs, just get a sense, because you start to see the beauty that's there, and then it's just asking the question, okay, what would bring more beauty into my life? Because the more beauty you bring into your life, the more it inspires your mind, it inspires your soul, it inspires every part of you. And it's like, okay, what's truly possible?
I love that. I will have more of that. So thank you so much, Paul. And look forward to seeing you real soon. And thank you all for listening to This Is Our Earth. If you like the show, know that you can share it, and many more to come and many archived. So we look forward to our next one. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to this show. My target is to inspire new actions and conversations that empower us all to know that we are the ones creating the future. If you'd like a way to contribute to our podcast, please leave a review wherever you listen. And for information about El Lugar, visit l-lugar.com. Thank you.